Hey guys, hang on, getting the cameras all set up. Give me a Josh Lake in the house. Give me a 4x4 if you guys can hear me. Can you hear me all right? 4x4, that's the I guess the trucker's term. I think yeah it is. Crypto Chris Card in the house. Perosi in the house. Look at all these people. Let's see if I need my glasses to read the comments. We're gonna be doing a lot of Q&A. All right, I think this is working. Kind of. There we go. All right, I want to talk about a couple things, and then I want to get to like Q&A. And we're sitting here on lockdown in California. We're in the epicenter of the lockdown right now, which is kind of interesting, and it'll be a good it's a good spot for me to tell the world what it feels like to be on lockdown, or at least wait, I don't mean the world, I mean the United States. California was probably one of the first, my area, one of the first to institute the lockdown, although New York probably should have done it sooner. The nature of this pandemic is that every day you wait means tens of thousands of people get it. It's insane how fast this thing spreads. But hey, this is year zero. This is the world that Cliff talked about. Everything is changing. Everything will be different. Those of you who think, oh, I can't wait for things to get back the way they were, they will never be. They will never be the way they were. Just give up that thought right now. You're better off thinking about, okay, how can I prepare myself for the future? How can I prepare myself to get by for the next couple weeks, couple months, couple years? I mean, that's the kind of mindset. Those people will survive and thrive. The people who think everything's going to go back to the way it was before are the people who will not make it. So just keep thinking about that. Cliff, in his, if you go to the 3-part interview I did with Cliff, the first part was done back in September, believe it or not. And it talked about a dynamic versus static stance to how this year zero is going to roll out. The dynamic stance is knowing that everything's going to change. Everything is going to change from that point on, from the point on where we are right now. Year zero, everything will be different in the future. And once you understand that, then you can say, okay, how can I best prepare myself, my body, my finances, my family, my friends, my attitude towards the future? Because you can literally recreate yourself. It won't be easy, though. Everything you learned up to this point is pretty much useless. So, yeah, get in the fight, get in the game. I do want to address a couple things before I get going. Number one, you're going to hear a lot of the conspiracy stuff. Now, the conspiracy guys have been trained. That's their normalcy. Their normalcy bias is that they think everything's a conspiracy, and it usually was in the past. Truthfully, it was. But now things are different. And just because you see a conspiracy type video, obviously staged about this coronavirus stuff, doesn't mean it's not real. Doesn't mean it's not going to affect all the people you talk to, all the YouTube fans you have, all the local people, your family, your friends. You need to take this seriously, and you need to tell them to take it seriously, especially. Because we're dealing with a life and death situation. If you're wrong, you're going to be the cause of people not being ready for this. And if you're right, everybody took care of themselves, and they're much healthier. There's no downside to telling people to prepare. I do believe it is absolutely the real thing, and it was in Cliff's data for a reason back in like the 1990s, called sun disease, coronavirus sun disease. That's damn close if you ask me, considering he was over 20 years early on that one. So yes, I am pulling out the old WebBot reports and reading them, just in applying them to what it feels like right now, being on lockdown, and what it will feel like as we move forward into this crazy future. I do want to talk about a couple things. I got a call from Andy Scheckman at Miles Franklin last night. They did get a new shipment of silver in. They do have silver inventory. He said he'd get everybody at RoadtoRoota the best price, best retail price offered. So if you want to get in touch with him, it's an email, andy@milesfranklin.com, milesfranklin.com. And he will set you up with the silver and ship it right to you. He also has storage. If you don't want to store it, he's got a storage facility that he says he's going to offer free storage for people. I don't know for how long, at least till this craziness kind of winds. I don't think it'll end. It'll wind down and then flare up again next year. Also wanted to talk about everybody said Cliff was crazy, said I was crazy, said everybody who was jumping up and down about the coronavirus were crazy, and now it's clearly playing out. So there's not much to talk about there as far as the virus. It is spreading. If you want to know how fast it's spreading, go to the private road and look at the chart. Or do the math yourself. Every 4 days it will double. And then run the numbers, and then come April, May, you're like, holy shit. The holy shit days are coming. And those people who said, no, it's look how many people the regular flu kills versus how many people coronavirus has killed. Run the numbers for yourself, and then look what happens in April, May, June, and you'll be shocked, absolutely shocked. So that's where we're headed. I think it's great that the United States is locking things down. It's going to flatten the curve, as they say. Less people will die, which is good. Less people dying is good. It's worse for the financial system. Our financial system dying is good as well, if you ask me. And it is over. By the way, it is over. The banks, when they report their first quarter earnings, if we even get to that, it will clearly show that they're insolvent. Remember, they were betting huge hundreds of trillions of dollars in the derivative markets, which have gone sideways. Friday afternoon, one of the first CME dealers who was part of the settlement group went belly up and had to be liquidated. You're going to see a lot of that next week. And then I don't even know if any markets will be open come April, May. And that's the reality of what happens in a highly levered fractional reserve banking system. So, yeah, that's where we are right now. The derivatives have been destroyed behind the scenes. That takes a couple weeks to get figured out. And then you're going to have the counterparty risk failure, which is hitting in. Hedge funds, good article, I think it was in Bloomberg, how the bailouts of the banks back in the repo bailouts was all about the hedge funds. And that's not going to go well when they go in front of Congress and say, we need to bail out the banks again, which is coming. And there is not an industry, not a company, not an employee, not a citizen in the United States who does not need a bailout right now. All of them. So if you give, for example, Boeing a bailout, you got to give all the airlines a bailout. And if you give all the airlines a bailout, you got to give the travel industry a bailout. And give them a bailout, you got to give the oil and gas industries a bailout. And if you give them a bailout, you got to give the people a bailout. Blah, 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 blah. And what's the biggest problem on planet Earth right now? I've been talking about forever. Debt. Massive amounts of debt everywhere. And what are they doing to fix this problem? Issuing more debt. That is not how you fix a problem. For a crack cocaine addict, you keep pumping them full of crack. That's a very disruptive thing to do, shall we say. So at some point it will end. I think it will end probably when the banks and the big companies go to Congress and say, we need a bailout, we need it now, and Congress will, because of the power of the people, say no. Remember, in 2008, when Hank Paulson went to Congress for $700 billion, people said no. They said no. The first time around, they said no. Stock market dropped, and then they gave him the bailout, and that's why it lasted another 10 years. Here we are at the exact same spot, exact same criminals in charge. No, our economy isn't doing great. That was Trump touting the horn of his economy. It was ridiculous. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. It comes from Larry Summers' Behavioral Economics. He taught a class at Harvard. If you build it, they will come type of thing. If you talk well about the economy and say everything's fine, everybody's going to go out and spend and make capital expenditures and all that shit. It is complete shit. This guy, Austin Goolsbee, should be put in jail for his spreading of that as well, working for Obama and that gang. He was a student of Larry Summers. We all know the criminal Larry Summers, how bad he is. So that's where we are right now. As far as the exchanges and the stock market, I expect them to go to zero because that's what they're worth. It's all rigged. Remember that. It's a rigged market in a rigged economy in a rigged economic system. Without the rigging, without the computer programs behind the scenes, none of this works. And this coronavirus shutdown thing is pulling the curtain away from the great and powerful Oz, pulling the levers behind the scenes. So it's a good thing that the economic system crashes and then we start fresh. It might take years to start fresh. I am a big fan of crashing it all right now and starting fresh right away and putting the criminals in jail that have been wandering around saying, "Hey, I'm gonna throw a coronavirus at you because you waited so long to take me out." And that's kind of where we are. So to me, this is the end of the line for the bad guys. The beginning of year zero is absolutely correct that Cliff High came up with. Well, he didn't even come up with it. He got it from the deep state or the deep military web. And they were calling it year zero, and it fit. Go watch those 3 interviews. And, well, we'll see. Nobody knows how it's really going to go down, so just hang on tight. All right. Now, after that, let's take some questions. Don't fire too many at me. I'll just grab one and go, okay? Everything is rigged from Tom. I agree. It is. And it was rigged. It started out, obviously, it's been rigging in markets goes on for decades. But this current iteration of rigging started with Alan Greenspan's computer programs in the 1960s and 70s, working with Arthur Burns, the head of the Fed. And that's how they rigged the silver market, the gold market, the bond market, the foreign exchange market. Every market is rigged. Steve Mnuchin was the head of IT for Goldman Sachs, for Christ's sake. The basement of the Treasury is a computer trading floor. All he has to do is click a mouse, boom, put the price of silver down to $1, put it to $1 million. Nobody knows where he's going to put it. It's part of the game. Same with cryptos. Obviously, they're rigged. All right, let's see. Bix, so are you saying move your money out of the bank? Well, yeah, if you can. I've been saying that for 20 years, though, right? And in 2008, we almost had the collapse. Had Congress stood its ground and didn't bail out the banks, we would have had the collapse. We would have been much better off than we are today, I believe. So it's gonna come to Congress again. And are they gonna bail them out again? Are we gonna go through another 10 years of this bullshit? Or are they gonna say enough is enough? The criminals need to go to jail and we move on. So I don't know. We will see where that goes. But yeah, your money in a bank, it's like the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard of. If you know the banking industry, I was in the banking industry for years, they're levered. They are a fractional reserve system, meaning every dollar they lose. And remember, when the stock market and everything was going up, and all the financial advisors were saying invest in the same type of thing. This much stocks, this much bonds, this much foreign exchange, this much gold. Everybody was doing the same thing. That's why prices went up. When the reverse happens, everybody's going to be selling the exact same things. So you're going to have the old fire hose filling up the Dixie cup type of thing as they rush to the exits. I think they're going to actually shut down the exchanges, the New York Stock Exchange, the COMEX, the LBMA, all the exchanges, all the crypto exchanges. They're just going to shut them down instead of reveal just how criminal they were. And then they're going to try to rejigger things and keep the rigging going. And we'll see what happens in the future. I am a big advocate of using Veritasium in the exchanges. Peer-to-peer transactions that are on the blockchain and auditable, and Reggie was doing that with the Jamaican Stock Exchange and I believe the German Stock Exchange when the SEC came in and stopped him. And literally, the SEC needs to be brought up on charges for what they did. And there's something going on in the background. They have frozen 98 million of the 100 million Veritasium tokens, so it might be pretty easy for the U.S. government to say, okay, Reggie, we're sorry for what we did. Now show us how to use these things so that we can get fair markets. That's wishful thinking. Yes, Veritasium is an absolute lottery ticket. But if that lottery hits, you're doing very well. Yeah. And I am still giving away Veri tokens with every private road subscription. All right, let's see where we are. Rinda Blue says, "What happens to gold and silver now?" Well, now the comics is still up and running, so they're still rigged. So nothing changes. Nothing has changed since the price was $50 an ounce or $4 an ounce. They've been rigged since the early 70s. Gold and silver will not go to fair market value until they shut the comics down, which I think is coming. And just a hint was Friday when one of the big market makers and market settlers went belly up and they had to liquidate all their assets. So, and that's the game that the regulators, the CFTC, the CME, who owns the comics, ICE, who owns everything, and the banksters play is the company they liquidated probably had some gold long positions, so they're gonna get rid of those, and it's just a game. It's a game, and it's all criminal. Cliff I in the house. Hello, Cliff. Thank you. Hey, you guys got to get on Cliff's tweets. I know it's a lot, but it's a lot of good information. And Cliff is saving the world one tweet at a time. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And anybody denies that Cliff is saving the world, come talk to me. Crypto Chris Card had a super chat. Oh yeah, you guys want your questions read? Do a super chat. What's the price target for Bitcoin Cash? I like Bitcoin Cash more than Bitcoin. It's got a long way to go to kind of narrow the gap of. I think at some point it'll go 1-to-1 with Bitcoin. Right off the bat, 4-to-1, I'd say. Now, Bitcoin Cash is better for as a means of exchange. We're going to need that means of exchange as the banks collapse. And remember, Bitcoin Cash is very big in Asia, where all the Bitcoin Cash miners are. So I see Litecoin really taking over as the means of exchange for the Western world, and Bitcoin Cash for the Eastern world. That's my take. Cliff's making fun of my hair. Or his lack of hair. I never know with him. All right, Litecoin Rebel, $5. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, $1.99. $5. I don't know. A big Litecoin Rebel, what is that? 5.00. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you guys want a question answered? Super chats. Josh Lake is in the house. Hey, Josh, I might need you. I might need you to pick up some silver for me and get up here. If it's possible. I don't know if you can travel on the roads. I'd say it's emergency because it's RoadtoRoota coins. That's an emergency in California, if you ask me. Yeah, I have a delivery. I had an order of RoadtoRoota coins that are supposed to be done by the end of the month, except they're down near LA, and I got to get them up here so that we can mail them out from here. I can. The lockdown is not that restrictive that you can't go on the freeways, you can't go point to point. At least not yet, and it might be at some point. I think it will be. It'll get a lot more strict as the days and weeks roll on. So, Josh says, "I'd love to help." Any excuse to come up. I know. Josh is dating our daughter, so our daughter's up here with us in Northern California. He's in Southern California, so yeah, he'll go through the zombie apocalypse to get up here. Thank you, Litecoin Rebel. That's the $5, $4.99. Gotcha. All right. Bix Royal Canadian Mint just suspended production. Jean-Claude, what's up, bud? Would you talk to Snippy and tell Snippy to get on board with, even if it is a conspiracy, you have to get yourself healthy because the virus is actually real. So get him on board. But yes, let's get back to that question of the Royal Canadian Mint. Yes, they did suspend production. Is that a big deal? No. The U.S. Mint suspended production as well. And this has been done in the past completely against what how a true market behaves. If there is no silver available, the silver price should be going through the roof. And somebody needs to explain that to the CFTC because it's complete market rigging. It's not fair market value. Obviously, when you run out of something that is needed and necessary, the price goes up. Now, here's the deal with U.S. Silver Eagles. They are required by law to mint Silver Eagles to meet demand, no matter what price they pay. So right now, the U.S. Mint should be paying $20, $30, $40 per ounce of of silver blanks that they get so they can produce what the amount of silver eagles that is demanded. That's the law. And they changed the law after I pointed that out, and many people pointed that out. They changed the law to say it's up to Steve Mnuchin's determination whether or not they're meeting demand. And he's a criminal, so what do, right? Henry, thank you for the super chat. What's going to happen when the dollar collapses? You got me. I think, well, if the dollar collapses, all fiat money collapses and we'll go to something else. Nobody knows. And the real key for me is when you read the RoadtoRoota documents, especially the Teacher's Guide to Wishes and Rainbows, it's called the RoadtoRoota. That's where the name came from. They have more questions than answers as far as when the old system crashes. Like 30 questions. It's crazy. So go to RoadtoRoota.com in the resources section on the left and check out the Teacher's Guide, and it'll scare the shit out of you because the questions are great. Will countries start trading again together? That means they stop trading at some point, and we're already seeing that with China. No, I don't think China will ever start trading with the United States again, at least for the next few decades. And what does that mean? It means everybody, all these banksters and hedge funds that invested in China are belly up. Like I said, they're belly up. It's just a matter of when are they going to declare. Jason at Ford needs a couple more kidney stones to bring him around. I know. He just gets, I mean, he's right. There are conspiracy videos being made, and because it's kind of weird. It's like when you believe in the conspiracy theory stuff, it's hard to flip your head around to say, oh my God, they're using the conspiracy theory to do something horrific, and people aren't buying into it, or they are buying into it, and they're just not preparing to get yourself healthy so that you can survive this coronavirus thing because they see these fake videos or they see this fake information. Both can happen at the same time is what is going on right now. The virus is real. It is a bioweapon. It was unleashed by somebody, probably China, or it could be the bad guys. It could be anything, but it doesn't matter. It is here. It is running around the world. And if people are making fake videos, that's all part of the game. It's the conspiracy behind the conspiracy behind the conspiracy. It's kind of like the RoadtoRoota theory and the Federal Reserve System. That the Federal Reserve System, there's people back there who are good guys trying to take down the banks. Crazy, I know, but that's what's happening. So you cannot take this thing lightly, the coronavirus. You need to prepare yourself. Assume that everybody you know and everybody they know is going to get this thing, because they are. And don't worry about wearing a mask in public or wearing gloves in public. When the government says don't wear masks, we need them at the hospital. You say, fuck off, government. You need to take care of yourself. Just because the government didn't take care of itself in the beginning should not tell you to give up your protection. That's what I think. If someone comes up to you, oh my God, you're wearing a mask. Say, hey, I have a cold. You want me to take it off and me to cough on you? It's kind of every man for himself now. So you got to do what you got to do. All right. Where are we now? J-Mac, John Teeter, Olympics conspiracy. Yeah, John Teeter gets a lot of things right. Snippy did a 4-part interview or YouTube discussion on that. It's really good. Go check that out. Cliff, I think Cliff thinks it's part of the deep state mind games. Who knows? I some of the things I think about when, how did they know, like the book, the Coons book that talks about the coronavirus and coming out of Wuhan and all that. There is something about the RV viewing guys being able to, see into the future. I think, having my thoughts that I'm an immortal soul living this physical life for a little while to learn the lessons I need to learn. I think we're put into a framework and certain things are already set up, and then it's, okay, how are these people going to handle this? Kind of like a video game. You're in this, here's the decisions you make, and here's where it goes. So, but what do I know? I don't know. It's kind of spooky and crazy, the whole thing. Polly P! Love you, baby. $20. Thank you. Love Polly P, truck driving man, crypto guy. Loves to talk because he's in his truck all the time. He's a good man. Brian Books, USDC, possible digital dollar in the future. Happy birthday. Whose birthday? Anyway, yeah, there will be all kinds of digital money. I think the U.S. will probably create a couple that won't work. Government has a hard time creating things that they can't control. So, I mean, we have digital money now, theoretically. Most of the digital blips out there of the U.S. dollar are digital. There's very few paper ones. But the difference between a digital cryptocurrency and a immutable blockchain type Bitcoin model cryptocurrency is night and day. So yes, there'll be a Fed coin, but will they have it open source code so you can see everything that they're doing with it? Will it be immutable? Will it be have limited quantity and all the things that, just because Bitcoin is digital doesn't mean it's good automatically. It needs the protocol. It needs everything that it's set up behind it such that it can function as a better form of money than the US dollar. That's my take, at least. And so we'll probably see a lot of digital currencies that come and go. And then every digital currency that governments make will be judged towards Bitcoin or Litecoin, or they'll all be judged against each other, and you'll have your choice, hopefully, if the United States turns back to our Constitution, which I think we will, you'll have your choice. You can choose whatever currency you want to deal in. And the government will obviously have their own, and that's fine as well. They can compete as well. But most likely it'll be unlimited supply when things go bad and things like that. Bix, are you a Freemason? No, but I do know one. I know a couple, actually. It doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of Freemasons out there. 33-degree Freemason. It's not like one Freemason is the same as the other. There's a whole pedophile Freemason arm, too. And there's a Freemason arm that looks out for the United States. And there's all kinds of different divisions, as you get with any kind of big group, conspiracy group stuff. I have John Teeter in the archives. Cool, PDF. Yeah, I think I remember. It's so hard for me to remember the archives on the Road to Ruta. It might be in resources. But that was so long ago. It's crazy. Okay, Cliff says nations will create their own coins, but they won't do as well. Yeah. I think Cliff's data had the U.S. trying to recreate something dollar-ish 3 times before they give up. I could see that happening very easy. Wix is deep state. Okay. Good thing it's not me. Maybe you're just trying to say Glix. Glix is deep state. Oh, by the way, you guys, if you're looking for ways to survive the coronavirus, liposomal vitamin C, chaga mushroom, chaga, that takes care of the HIV component of the coronavirus. The newest, Cliff Highs Pure Sleep. There it is. They're sold out, so you can't get them. Cliff will have more news on when they got the next batch. I think it's like a couple weeks or months. But yeah, it helped you sleep. You need your sleep to deal with the craziness that's going on. So, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff. Eucina, whatever that is it clears up your lungs. Zinc. There it is, C60, good and cheap. I like the cheap stuff. And everything else that you guys can come up with to take care of your body, take care of your mind. Everything's changing. I know it's going to be hard. Just hang in there. And no, I'm not fear porning. Everybody's like, oh, Bix, not everybody. Some people who haven't been on the Road to Ruta for a while, Bix, you're just full of fear porn. You're just doing this to scare people. I am not doing this to scare people. But if it scares you, that means you haven't been on the Road to Ruta that long and you hadn't been listening to what I've been saying for the past 15 years. This was inevitable and it was coming. And hopefully you've prepared by now, especially with your assets in your own possession, nothing in third-party storage, and prepare your body. We are changing. The whole world is changing. It will never go back to where it was. Never in a million years. Why? Because all the banks are done. And when the banks are done, every company on planet Earth, every person loses their shit, loses their money, loses whatever they had in a bank. No, the FDIC doesn't have enough money to bail out the derivative market, and that's what they put in the Dodd-Frank part of the bailout. So the FDIC, do not look for the FDIC to come save the day. First of all, they don't have any money. They have to go to Congress to get it. And second of all, that's not the plan. Mark Squibb, thank you for the $10. Did the info on oxygen O2 remediation of respiratory infection have any value? I don't think I looked at it, but I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I hear a lot of different medical advice on what to do, so I wouldn't know if it would be right or wrong, truthfully. Oxidative therapies, I hear they're great. And so you guys talk about that one in the chat room. Anybody know anything about it? All right, what else we got? My wife Amy is on the chat, by the way, and she's going to delete you if you say anything mean to me. No, she's not that tough. But yeah, if you're an ass, I gave her full permission to delete anybody. All right. Crypto Farmer met Bix, Bitcoin Ben, and Will there in Texas last April. They're all great guys. Thank you, Crypto Farmer. Yeah, the Texas event this year got canceled. I'm really bummed about that because I went out there early to check out the site with Ben and the Wild West Crypto Show guys and Litecoin Lisa. That place was awesome. It's really cool. So when we get past this lockdown state of the world, we'll do it again. I mean, it will pass. It will take a long time. I think you're talking months, not weeks type of thing before people get so fed up and they just say, I can't stay inside anymore. And then they'll go out, more people get infected, and hopefully we can lower the curve thing. But if you take your liposodal C, your chaga, your zinc, all that stuff, elderberry, you'll fare better, and the people who come in contact with you will fare better because of that. They say if you're infected, you can infect like 40 people within a week, and you don't want to do that. So, yeah, vitamin D as well, absolutely. But it's going to be around for a long time, and hopefully at some point we can. I'll get the road. We had planned this summer to go on the road, singing songs of freedom and talking freedom with Bitcoin Ben and the whole gang, and we were gonna get in RVs and spend 90 days out there on the road, going from town to town. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be a different world when we do it. Probably most people will be dealing in cryptocurrencies by then anyway. So we will see how that goes. But I do miss I'm bummed that the Texas meetup didn't happen because I really enjoyed that. All right, let's see. What happens to our mortgages? They're gone. If the banks are gone, the mortgage is gone, obviously. People were saying, if the banks crash, they'll just collect on the mortgages. No, they won't. They won't. The banks are gone. That means all assets are gone, and we get to start fresh at some point. So, yeah. It'll be messy. And how are they going to reboot? No, the NESRA Act is not part of the plan. That's been in the works for 20 years. It never worked, and the reason it never worked was mainly because it would take deciders. And when this shit falls apart, everybody loses everything in their 401k and all that. They're not going to trust Trump or Mnuchin or Jerome Powell or any of those guys who were in charge before. And that's going to be a huge problem. Alan Greenspan's plan on the RoadtoRoota was to reallocate money according to Social Security balances, which is kind of a smart way to do it in the United States, because you give those who paid into the system the longest the most in the beginning, and you give everybody like a base amount. And that might be the conspiracy side of me. This check that's coming for every American, that might be the base amount. It might be a new form of money, and the banks might crash before that. No, trust the plan. You can't trust anybody but yourself. I would love for the plan to be true, but the plan didn't include releasing a deadly bioweapon. I'll guarantee you that. So that's not part of the plan. It's kind of hard to trust the plan when they took too long to take these guys out before they could release something like that. So I don't trust the plan anymore. Hey, more power to them if they can get it done. But that coronavirus is a huge wrench in the cog of what was going on. So that's my take, at least. Thank you again, Mark. And there's information on health, role of vitamin C, oxidation. Go check it out. Thanks, Mark. All right, let's see. What other questions do we have? Bix, play some tunes on your YouTube. Happy Hour Friday. That's a good idea. I think I'm going to... crypto viewing. Dick. Oh, my friend. I miss Dick. We were supposed to hang out in Hawaii together. We were going to sing at the bar called the Castaway on Maui, and that all went by the wayside, and he ran away from town. He's in an undisclosed location. Good move getting out of Hawaii. Hawaii has, I think they're on lockdown now with no flights in and out. Definitely no tourist flights. And just the whole way they went about that in Hawaii, because it is one of the largest tourist destinations for Japan and China, they had coronavirus floating around there for months, and they refused to test anybody, and they should be brought up on charges, if you ask me. All for the mighty dollar, because that's pretty much all of their economy is tourism, which sucks. So, Dick, I hope you're doing well. I love seeing your videos. You're back out on the video, which is awesome. And give me a call, and we'll do a live chat, and we'll talk about all kinds of good stuff. All right, Savage 17, thank you for the $20. Awesome. Need some shelves from Home Depot. Seemed completely normal. Saw one mask. County Cobb, Georgia. Bought mushroom powder on Amazon. That's good. It sounds like your town or your state is still functioning for the most part. I don't know how much it's functioning here, and we've only been on this lockdown for 4 or 5 days, I think. And originally they said till April 7th. If they miss that date, you're going to see a lot of people going a little crazy, and that's what the scary part stuff. That's why you have to have a gun and things like that. San Francisco is completely locked down as well. Yeah, that's kind of the National Guard's been called out. They say, oh, to pass out food at the homeless shelters. That's bullshit. They're getting people on the streets for this thing going more than just the 3 weeks, for going like 3 months or 6 months. So be ready for anything. Again, everything has changed. The whole world has changed. You woke up one day about a month ago, and everything is different. There will be no stock market, bond market, at least in the same formation that it is right now. It is a criminal enterprise. And I do expect to see a lot of people being arrested, including Jamie Dimon and friends. So keep an eye out for that. Gene Richards, thank you for the $2. Awesome. Thank you very much. Rainy Steps. Are they letting flights out of Hawaii? I think only for essential. See, I don't know. There was some kind of lockdown on the flights and on definitely on cruise ships. I don't know right now. I do keep an eye on that every couple days, but everything has been going so crazy all around the nation that you got to assume it's coming to you at any second, that you're going to be on complete lockdown, only able to go to the store and back type of thing, or they'll pull you over and arrest you for breaking the lockdown. That's kind of what's going on in Italy right now. We're about 2 weeks behind Italy, and everybody should tune into Chris Martinson's stuff. Amazing. He was on this very early on. He has this saying, it's case, cluster, boom. So you hear about one case here, one case there, and then a group, another group, and then all of a sudden, boom, is when it spreads everywhere. And that's what New York just hit today, is the boom. California is right behind them. Any moment, it's going to be boom. You know, I went out today. I had to go to the bank and pull some money out of the bank. And you don't think about it, but you need to wear gloves and a mask. Why? Because when you're hitting the code to punch in your ATM, there's coronavirus on those keys. You go to the store, there's coronavirus on the shopping cart. I mean, it is all over every doorknob you open. And then you're standing in line at the store to get your groceries, and somebody's coughing right behind you, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I don't have any protection on. You're gonna get it, basically, is what I'm saying. You're gonna get it. We're all gonna get it. It's just, is your body gonna be prepared to fight it out? Because like right now in London, all the hospitals are getting filled up. One of them is no longer taking patients because it's full. That's the problem. That's when the death percentages go up dramatically. And that's what happened in Wuhan. Yes, Wuhan has not stopped. We're talking, I would assume hundreds of millions have died in Wuhan. The numbers are obviously fake. They haven't, they say, oh, 80,000 people have it, and there's 3,000 deaths. Completely wrong. And that's why they locked the media out of China. That's why Trump's so pissed at them. They've hid so much stuff. The China virus, he keeps calling it. Trump is brilliant with his words. The China virus, the China virus. It's like, remember fake news? When he instituted, they tried to institute some fake news thing on him, and he just turned it around on him. It was amazing. Fake news, fake news, fake news. He just kept, now he's calling it China virus, China virus, China virus. Pretty soon we'll all be calling it China virus. All right, let's see where we are. Here's a super chat. I'm your Huckberry. I'm building a house this year. I'm worried about banks material. What do you think? I think, yeah, you're going to be building a straw house. Wherever you can find wood, you're going to use, because the banks won't be around to. And the other thing, here's the thing on housing and financing. Without banks, what is the value of your house? If people can't borrow to buy your house, 95% drop in value. I know people aren't used to it. Houses should be a depreciating asset. It's the dollar that changes, the availability of cheap money that changes. So, yeah, if you have money in like you have an equity line in your house, draw it down as fast as possible and take that money out of the system, because they're going to close your equity line and not even tell you. And that's probably happening next week. So if you have any money on an equity line on your house, draw it out. Absolutely draw it out. You're going to need it for food, and yeah, you can buy silver, you can find it. But just remember, these banks are hurting beyond hurting. And everybody's drawing, the big corporations are drawing on their equity lines, which means there's less and less money in the system. And the Fed's opening up the spigots, but it's not enough. So there you go. Advice for renters. Well, just pay rent this month and then see if the banks are around. So, yes, I am. Jean-Claude, are you writing a Chaga Gangsta song? I am working on a couple songs right now, and I will be. I want to do like a daily. Maybe we'll do it at noon every day, like this one. Give me a thumbs up if you want to do this like every day. I got nothing to do when you're sitting here on lockdown. So if you want to see this thing every day, give me a thumbs up. And let me know in the chat room. Should we do this every day at noon Pacific time? There's a thumbs up. All right. Yeah. Bix, will the troops hold their posts or leave for their family? What would you do if it gets bad? You'd leave for your family. So, yeah, it's up to you taking care of yourself, depending on how bad this thing gets. So, Paige Goodyear in the house. Literally, Paige Goodyear in the house. Yeah, the whether or not the military will stay in their posts, no, not if things got real bad. They're going to take care of their family first, and as well, everybody should. So yeah, you do need to have food and water and guns and all the things I've been talking about for 20 years, because now's the time. It is not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And you got to be prepared for that. All right. Julio, crypto exchange fees way less than metals premiums. True, but you got to get your cryptos off the exchanges. That's the thing that it's the scariest part when you go buy crypto on an exchange, is you don't know if you're going to get Mt. Gox that next second. And I think all the exchanges will end up like Mt. Gox, by the way, because none of them have the cryptos that they say they have for their customers. L'Oreal, hi Bix. Is it worth it to make the monthly payment towards life insurance with banks? I do not have life insurance. I think no. But hey, I'm not gonna advise you on that. I wouldn't do it. How's that? I wouldn't do it because I don't think the banks are around. You know, the banks are done anyway, so they're not going to be there to stand up behind the life insurance. They took your money, they invested it, and those investments are going down rapidly down the hole. Most of them invest in, they're required to do a certain amount of like T-bills and safe investments. Even T-bills are owned by multiple owners now, and that's the problem with the repo situation. So, Yes, absolutely. I would think twice about making any payments. Um, that is not investment advice. Like, you don't want to get kicked out of your house. Although I think in New York they said no more foreclosures until further notice. Further notice is not going to be 3 weeks, my friends. Further notice is going to probably be 2 or 3 months to get over this, in my opinion. And it won't be over ever. We're going to be dealing with this for 3 to 5 years. The bad year is going to be next year, according to Cliff's data. Scary, huh? What happens to your homes? You have your home. It's a place you're staying, and if you need to get out, if you need to bug out, you'll need to bug out. The value of your homes will go down if there's no banks. Down about 95% is my guess. Although Martin Armstrong doesn't have that happening until I think 2032 or something like that. That the bottom of the housing market is finally in. Obviously, the housing market is going to take a gigantic tumble over the next couple months, and it's never going to recover, ever. So if you have an equity line, the banks are going to start pulling equity lines probably in the next couple weeks. Adam Apple, is it a good idea to leave the city for a while, wanting to avoid possible Mad Max scenario? I can't give you that advice. You're going to have to determine that one on yourself. I decided not to leave the city. I got family here. I do have a bug out spot if it needs be, but when you're in the bug out spot, you're gonna have to fend for yourself. You can't expect to get any groceries or anything like that. So yeah, everything's different. They're probably the big grocery deliveries will probably be in the big cities while the system is still functioning on that front. It won't be in the little towns. That's my take. But if you can hunt and fish, I mean, Dick Allgaier went to some little island somewhere in the middle of nowhere and says, "Oh, I'm not worried at all about eating because you can fish." Well, the reality is you can't open a bank account in that little place, and there's other issues you're gonna have to deal with. And oh, by the way, Dick, I hate to inform you, coronavirus is coming to your island wherever you are. Everybody's gonna get it unless they there's nobody on the island right now, and they blocked all flights and boats, so. You can't run away from the virus, unfortunately. Will there be a mortgage reset? No, the mortgages will go away if the banks go away. That's going to be the least of your worries, in my opinion. But the U.S., like Cliff said, they're going to try to restart the system for 3 times. So you might go 5 years before a new system really takes hold, and you might have to pay all those payments to the man. But I don't think so. I don't think there will be any bailouts of the banks. I don't think the people are up for it, because if you bail out the banks again, we got another 10 years of them stealing from us, and I think we learned a lesson, hopefully. But we'll find out, right? How tall is Jay Snip 4? Taller than I am. I think he's like 5'8", 5'9". He's not real tall, but he's not short. That's my take. Seekin' Findin'. The value of crypto in 1850, zero. No, this is good. The value of crypto in 1850, zero. No banks, no electricity, no crypto. If it isn't a physical asset, it will be crap. Gold, silver, lead, land, food, water. Your thoughts? The value of crypto will be extremely valuable as a means of exchange as long as the internet is up and running. And that is kind of the key. But then again, if the internet is not up and running, your gold and silver will be worthless, worth zero, because there will be no just-in-time delivery system. 98% of the population will be dead. So I think the internet is absolutely necessary for the functioning of everything these days. So yeah, that'll be the first thing. Even before water, they're going to get the internet up. So delivery that happens of goods and services and you name it, all requires the internet to be up and running. It's not like the 1970s when everything functioned without the internet. Now it is absolutely required for the delivery of goods, over-the-road trucking, everything. So, and by the way, cryptos are the future of money. And you can say all you want and believe in it. You got to be able to touch it. I would say you got to be able to believe that 2 + 2 will always equal 4, and that way you can believe in cryptos. I know it's hard to go from a metals centric standpoint to a crypto centric standpoint because it took me a good year and it cost me a hell of a lot of money. But the whole world will get it soon enough. And the only reason metals are valuable, it's about scarcity. And that's what the Bitcoin and the good cryptocurrencies are better at than gold is the scarcity factor. 21 million Bitcoin will ever be mined. You know exactly how much the scarcity is. With gold, you have no idea. And truthfully, I've found millions of tons of gold through my research. And what does that do to the gold story? And you can always find gold in the mining in the oceans or on asteroids. So Bitcoin, you're at 21 million coins. It's 1984. It's their Blitzkrieg. Thank you, Bruce. What else? Bix, when will you know when it's right time to use your silver? They may trick you, no? Well, I will know when it's the right time to sell silver or use silver when silver is freely traded. That's all I want. I just want to find out what the fair market value of silver is because it hasn't been freely traded in over 150 years. So the time for me to sell my silver will be the closing of the COMEX and the invention of a new exchange. Probably included in that is the Veritasium to verify all transactions. And then I will think about selling my silver. Until then, I'm just going to hang on to it. All right. Let's see. Eric Smith, no banks and home prices down 95%. I think you're going a bit too far with your imagination. Tell me one bank that is not levered at least 10 to 1, and then make your argument about how the banks are going to survive when the asset values that they invest in are down 30% already and still falling. It's simple math. When you've been in banking long enough, you understand fractional reserve banking, and the derivative market is dead too. So, yeah, I'm sorry that you tied into the banks, but if you did, the banking system is not long for this world, and everything is different now. Sorry, man. All right. What time are we looking at? No, we're still good. All right. I got a new phone because I figured Apple wasn't going to make any more iPhones for the near future. So I finally got a new phone, and the battery is a hell of a lot better than my old battery, which is good. I like that. Because my old battery, I'd hit an hour, and it'd start saying, oh, you're low on battery. I'm like, what the hell? This one, and I have a backup battery, too. So we're good. All right. Let's see. Where are we? E.H. Witt. Will there be two separate prices of silver, physical and paper? Yes, there already is, actually. There's two separate prices for silver. The paper price, well, it's electronic, but it's the COMEX price is like $12.67 or something. The physical price, I hear with premiums, $19, $20 right now. So there is two different prices for silver. Not that they'll show it on MSNBC or Bloomberg or anything like that, but that's the reality. And nobody has ever come up with a good explanation of why silver disappears when the price goes down. It's supposed to be the exact opposite. So we will see. LTC Perosi got me one whole Ethereum today. I think Ethereum's going to do really well I believe it is part of the planned infrastructure for all governments. And I came to that belief mainly when Vitalik sat down with Putin and explained what Ethereum was, and then the changes that are coming to Ethereum are really important, and they will get the backing of the governments around the world to build businesses on Ethereum. I think it's the exact opposite for something like EOS. I think EOS will end when the criminals are arrested. I don't think the criminals are running the show anymore, but they're definitely with the invention of Ethereum. And those people belong in jail. They might already be in jail, but there is a crypto cabal that needs to go to jail as part of this transition. And hopefully Trump and the good guys can take them out sooner rather than later, in my opinion. All right. Let's see. Pete, I want to liquidate my 401k. Can't roll it over too. Yeah, 401ks are tough. If you're still with your employer, you would have to quit, and then you can roll it over. So, by the way, anybody wants to do a 401k rollover where you get your assets in your own possession, call Will Lair at Perpetual Assets, 888-281-2630. Or if you are new to cryptos and you have over 10 grand you want to invest and you are scared shitless, which you should be if you're new to into cryptos and you want to invest 10 grand, call Will and he and Gus will set you up. You don't have to be crypto savvy to invest in cryptos. Again, 888-281-2630. All right, let's see where we are. Yes, Jean-Claude. PerpetualAssets.com is Will's company's name. Flatline Racer. Stay happy and safe, Bix. I am trying. If you guys watched my morning Horn of Z's and stuff, I was in a dark place for a while because it's hard. You see all this death and destruction and criminality behind the scenes. You get sucked down into it, and I need to remember that the other end of this dark tunnel there is a light. And that light is free markets and freedom and the end of the criminal cabal and the end of the criminal banking system that we're currently in, and a change. And change is good. It's not going to be easy in this. I don't know how long this tunnel is, but it is dark and it is scary and it is deadly. And we're right in the middle of that tunnel. But there is a light at the end, so keep walking, keep going straight. Bix, do you listen to Gregory Manarino? He said, "One world digital currency." I don't listen to Gregory Manarino. From what I've seen of him, he's kind of a lightweight when it comes to the banking guys. I know 1,000 different banking guys who can blow him away in half a breath. So, but hey, some people like him. Go for it. I like all the crypto guys and the finance guys. I like everybody. Even Bo Pony. I love Bo. I don't believe him because he's been wrong so many times. We'll find out. His latest prediction is cryptos will bottom on the 28th. So we're looking for the 28th. And then I'll say, oh, Bo's right on everything. No. I don't mind Bo. He's a nice guy. I met him in Vegas at the Litecoin Summit. He's a really nice guy. But I think his prediction methodology is it's hit and miss and a lot of guessing, and he touts himself, oh, it's set in stone, this is how he does it, and he keeps missing and then coming back a couple months later or a couple of years later and says, oh, I've never missed anything. And it's just, at some point you got to say bullshit on it. So, but hey, if he gets the 28th right for the bottoming of the cryptos, there you go. There's another couple more months of saying Bo's a god. So, all right. Inclusive model designs. Bix went looking for chaga in the woods. Hard to find. No luck so far. I heard it grows up in the colder climates, and I've seen pictures of it. It's like growing on trees, like a I don't know, a big bump on a tree. But they do sell it on Amazon, which is kind of easier to get. Page, 1,000 thumbs up, and Bix plays some music. Okay, next tomorrow's 12 o'clock. News, I will be playing music as well. I'll do both. So we'll set it up so we get the live happy hour stuff, because we need some chilled out music and drink some beers on a porch type of feeling while we're stuck here in lockdown. So I'll do that every day at 12 o'clock. Here we go. It'll be the road show, 12 o'clock road show. We're going to talk about cryptos. We'll talk about surviving this, and we'll sing songs and have your requests ready. And I will be writing new songs because I'm stuck in this house with nothing to do except play on the internet and then take care of my lovely family. Right? It's funny because every few minutes I hear Amy and Paige giggling downstairs. I didn't hear them. Now they're not talking. All right. E. Joseph, I play drums. Cool. We can get a virtual band going. I think they can do that. I think they can do that Chugging Chaga, absolutely. Chaga Gangsta. Everybody needs. Oh, by the way, my subscribers haven't moved in like a year. If you're not on this, subscribe to my video link. Hit subscribe and give me a thumbs up. I don't know what happens on YouTube. Well, I do know what happens, but my subscriber thing keeps going down, and I'm like, hey, how come I'm getting so many new people and the subscribers keep going down? That's YouTube for you. There's a song I wrote called They. Look it up. Go to RoadtoRoota at RoadtoRoota YouTube and look up They, They, and you'll understand why my views have not moved in a year. So there you have it. All right, I'm about done. The 1 hour road show will happen again tomorrow at 12 o'clock Pacific time. If you have new questions, you can shoot me an email, bix at roadtoroota.com. And I'll try to cover questions I get, and then we'll do some sha-la-lying, a little sing-song tomorrow at the 12 o'clock time. Thank you all so much. Please take care of your bodies, take care of your souls, take care of the people around you. Try to spread the news that this is important, it's the real deal, but also that they need to be prepared for some financial chaos coming down the line as the banks collapse. All right? You guys take care, and I will talk to you later.